everyone, welcome back to Function Pilates channel. I'm Vanessa Kelly, and today's video is going to be about one of my most favorite workshops to teach in the studio. It's called the neck workshop. So for some of you that have already purchased the PDF file, that have contacted me and I've emailed that link over to you, this is going to be great to go ahead and take that guide out. And for those who have not purchased it, it's still okay. You can purchase it with the information in the description box below, or you can just take your own notes and follow step by step with me, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about everything you're going to need in the workshop here. So first things first, we're going to need a tennis ball. And then you're going to need also a TheraBand. And actually, these are not required. The TheraBand is definitely not a requirement. The tennis ball, I definitely would advise you purchasing if you don't have one. And then also we have a small ball. Again, this is not a requirement. There are some other options that you can get through to go into what we're going to be talking about without TheraBand, without the ball. I do have this box here, but you can use simple furniture around your house to demonstrate exactly what we're going to be doing here, okay? So I'm going to set these back over to the side. I'll have the tennis ball here handy. Okay, so basically we talk about on that first page what forward head posture is. It is something that we do see a lot more of as Pilates instructors when we are looking at a client's body positioning and posture. It helps us create and format your own customized program when we do see you. So a forward head posture may be the main reason for tension, stiffness, or pain in your neck, shoulders, and back. What causes forward head posture? Well, it's part of a bigger problem. It's basically from bad posture. We have a tendency to sit in our chairs all day in the office, and we're on our phones all day doing social media, especially now in today's world. So we're a little bit more hunched over, our shoulders round a little bit more forward, and we get super tight in the front and super long and weak through the back muscles. So our bodies were not designed for prolonged periods of sitting or sedentary lifestyles. They automatically adapt to our environment, and when we continually place ourselves in suboptimal positions, such as hours of sitting, certain muscles that are responsible for good posture will weaken and tighten. As the body follows where the head goes, if you have forward head posture, your shoulders will also hunch forward with it, as I stated earlier. So we're going to talk about different types of stretches that you can do to help release those overactive muscles, and then also different strengthening exercises so that when those muscles, those stubborn muscles actually release, that your muscles can actually be strong enough to hold the head in proper placement, if that makes sense. Okay, so the first one is our release. It's a massage ball release. So basically we're going to hang on to a tennis ball. I'm going to have you guys lie on your back, and you're going to place this ball underneath your head, basically right above the skull of the head here. So I'll kind of show you from here. Sorry, I don't have a zoom in camera for you guys to see that up close and personal, but I'm going to just place it there, and I'm going to hang on with both my hands because it does have a tendency to slip a little bit. So from this position, I'm just on the right side of my head, and I can either hold a static position, meaning I'm not going to move my head whatsoever, or I can be a little bit more active with it and start to nod my chin down and up towards the ceiling here. I can also begin to rotate left to right, right to left. And you will start to feel some sensitivity in those areas. It could possibly be more of like a bittersweet sensation. That's when you know that you're on the spot there. So anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes on each side is sufficient. If you want to go longer, by all means, go for it. So as we continue here, I'm just going to talk a little bit. A lot of times when people have forward head posture, it also comes with migraines or headaches. There's not a lot of airflow going through to the brain when you think about the alignment of your head jutting forward. So when we reposition and strengthen those muscle groups to line right back over our shoulders, we have better and proper airflow to help with the circulation to the brain. Let's switch the tennis ball over to that left side. Okay, so if you are already there, continue to rotate left and right. Bring the chin up to the ceiling, down to the chest. And you might even notice that one side feels more sensitive to the other. Maybe they feel about the same. We're releasing a lot of toxins here, guys, so just keep in mind if you feel a little funny afterwards or throughout the day when you do this. Drink plenty of water. We are naturally flowing those toxins out of the body, especially if you've had a lot of this tension and stiffness for a while. And you might feel what I like to call little speed bumps if you're going over those tiny little knots. Again, I like to call it a bittersweet feeling. It's like, it doesn't feel good, but it feels so good. And you know it needs to be done. That's the other thing. All right, so again, taking your time, 1 to 2 minutes on each side, and then releasing that ball out from underneath. Okay. So then let's turn to the next page. So we go into more of a release. Let me recenter here, guys. A release of the muscle that goes right below the ear down to the neck, okay? So we call that muscle the sternocleidomastoid, and it also becomes very tight in certain positions when we do have that forward head posture, because you have to remember when you are in this position, the chin is jutting forward and it's shortening the muscles from back here, creating this shortness and tightness, creating long and weak through here, okay? So we want to reposition and strengthen to take our head back that direction, okay? So the sternocleidomastoid release is we're going to just kind of pinch through the skin, just pulling the muscle away from the bone, and you're going to locate it right underneath the ear, the earlobe. And you're just going to move or take those fingers and run down your entire neck here. Again, you're going to feel that more of that bittersweet feeling. You'll know when you're on that spot. And it can be sensitive in one area and not so much on the other, in other areas of this placement. So just play with it. We can, again, take about a minute on each side. And if you're not sure what you're supposed to be feeling, trust me, you'll know. It's, again, it is that very sensitive feeling where it's like, wow, I didn't realize I was super tight right there. And all of a sudden you just figured it out. And it's like you're giving yourself quite a bit of a self-massage. And just gently pulling your skin away from the bone. Just pinch and release. And everyone will go at their own comfortable pace. So if it feels better for you to go slower, then that's fine. If you want to just move a little faster, you can move through it. And then let's switch to the other side. Okay. So finding, again, and for me, each side is a little different. I feel it directly underneath my ear on my right side. On my left side, however, I feel it a little bit more behind my ear. So explore. Really take the opportunity to explore where you are feeling it. And I also feel it on my left side a little lower, so not as high. So what does that mean? Well, it could mean that, and this is, I do know this about myself, I have a tendency to tilt my head more to the right. So I am starting to shorten the muscles more on the right side and making these muscles a little bit longer. So it's just the positioning of my head, how I tilt it and how I may rotate it. That's diving a little bit deeper into the postural therapy aspect. I don't want to go there, but just to give you an overview of what that might mean to you if you do feel it in separate spots. Good. Okay, and then let's go ahead and finish that out. Okay, perfect. Hopefully that is making sense so far. So then we're going to go into our chin tucks, and this is an exercise to strengthen the muscles here. Okay, so remember we just talked about that. When you have your chin jutting forward, the muscles here begin to become. All right, so I'm going to turn this way so you can see me from a side position. And what we're going to do is you can basically be sitting just as so with nothing behind you. You can even use a wall, for example, to give you some sort of placement of what your target is. Okay, so for some of you that might feel easier if you don't have if you can't be a good judge of character. So let's go ahead and take our 2 fingers right here. We're going to place them on our chin. And then from this position, try to avoid looking up or looking down. Your eyesight wants to be straight ahead. So you should feel elongation through the back of the neck. And you're going to gently push those 2 fingers into your chin, pushing your head backwards. And release. I like to pause for a moment. And release. Let's do 8 more. And release. Good. 7. And 5. 4. Good. One more time. And relax it there. So it feels awkward. It feels a little silly too. Great strengthening exercise. I love to let my clients know to do this exercise in their car at a red light. Not that a lot of us are driving right now, but it is really great to do maybe at your desk when you're on the airplane, when you're sitting there and it's already uncomfortable just sitting there. So those are really great strengthening exercises to do in your car, on a flight, in your office. Take it right against the wall if you don't have anything to support your head. Otherwise, you don't need anything, okay? Okay, so again, if you guys have questions, feel free to comment below, and then I will try to answer them more specifically to the questions that you guys have. The next one here, again, is a progression of what we just did. So if you just started this program and you're doing your tennis ball massage releases, then you're going into your sternocleidomastoid release. Great. That can be used for everyone, whether you're a beginner or intermediate. But now you're really wanting to progress here. You're wanting to strengthen the muscles from the front of the neck. So we start with those chin tucks. You've done that really well. You're ready for the next challenge. This is where we move into the progression series, okay? So the chin tuck is against gravity. All right, so this is where we're gonna need something, and you can see me, I'm actually laying on the Cadillac in this photo, and I'm on my stomach with my head not being supported. So I'm just gonna use the standard reformer box to again demo what you could be doing. You can use your bed for all, which would be completely okay to do. I just want you to be somewhere where you're not being supported, okay? So let's put this directly underneath. All right, what that means is we're gonna lie on our stomach here, head is off the edge of the bed, and we're gonna continue to gently tuck our chin as we did in the previous exercise. So let's just drop everything down. Okay, now eyesight is to the floor. you're going to use the back of your neck to lift your head up and release. So try not to move your chest or your upper body. You can aim to hold 5 seconds for 30 repetitions, or do what feels okay for you. If it's 1 second, if it's a half second, if it's just 10 repetitions, this is hard to do. And release. I'm going to do 3 more. And then relax it there. This is great also, guys, to strengthen the whole backside of your body. So as I'm lying there, I can even feel this strengthening my spine. All the muscles that run along our spine, even into our low back muscles. So not only is this great for strengthening the entire neck region, but also strengthening the muscles that support our spine, which is super important. Another topic of discussion, I'm not going to dive well into that right now, but we're going to continue to move along here. Okay, so the chin tuck with the resistance band. So basically, you're progressing, you've done these really well. Now you want to add resistance to it. So it's not just your own body weight, you're actually going to be using other weight against it. So that's why the TheraBand comes into play. And what we'll do is you're going to wrap the TheraBand behind the back of your head. Okay. And then you're going to pull on it, okay, to create tension, create resistance. And then you're going right into the same exercise we did in the very beginning, the chin tuck, that beginner fundamental exercise. So from here, and I might not even be moving very far, but this one is definitely way harder for me. And I'm trying my very best not to move my body with it, but it's hard. It's hard to do. So for me, I would want to continue to work on the last one that we did on our belly before I moved more into this, just because I feel that I need to do a little bit more strengthening there before I dive right into the resistance band. But for those that are doing really well and they have a lot of activity, a lot of movement in their neck, that is the great, that's the best progression to go into when you've been able to execute everything else properly. Okay, so questions with that? Let me know. Again, hopefully this is very self-explanatory. In the workshop, I do have everything pretty much bullet pointed out so that you should be able to do this without instruction from me. But again, everyone is a little different. Everyone learns a little differently, which is why I wanted to provide a visual. Okay, so let's go into our chin knots. We're going to eliminate this box. I don't need this anymore. Okay, so our chin nods here, we're going to lie down on our back. Okay. And again, another favorite of mine here. We're basically going, you can relax your arms down beside you. But what's going to happen is you're going to drop your chin towards your chest and you're going to release. So what we're doing is, again, as the chin drops to the chest, we're elongating through the back of the neck, and you should feel that right away as you're dropping. It's like you're providing, again, that double chin. Not that we want to do that, but it's what's best for the exercise. And for me, I can feel that even running down my cervical spine all the way down through the rest of my body into my torso.
And you don't have to overdo it. So try to relax the rest of your body. And we're going to, let me verify, 5-second hold for 30 times. Again, if it's just a half second, a second, couple seconds, that's fine. Again, this is just a guide, so I'm just starting you somewhere. Everyone has, their own limitations and conditions, so I just want you to be able to find a number that works well for you. Maybe it's 6, maybe it's 7, and then that's where you start. And then maybe you're, a month down the line, now you're at 30. So everyone can just have a starting point. Okay, so that is where the chin nod comes in. Again, pretty self-explanatory. And let's go into the chin tuck where your nod is over the edge of the bed. So again, in the photo, you can see me. I'm on my back on the Cadillac with my head over the edge here, okay? This can be done on your bed. Once again, this is way harder than what we just did on our stomach. So, okay, let's set ourselves back up again. Just to keep in mind, guys, if this is too excessive for you, if this is creating more tension than you had in the beginning, stop it immediately. There's no reason to go into something that maybe your body's not ready for, maybe it's just not necessary. I just like to provide lots of options for individuals because we're all different. Our postures are all different. So if it's not working for you, that's totally fine. You don't have to continue to do that. I just wanted to make sure that I do say that. So we're going to lie on our back. Our head is going to go over the edge here. Okay? And I'm starting in extension, which means I'm dropping my head back. And then from here, I'm going to lift up. And then down. And then lift up. So coordination-wise, it's already challenging, but yeah, gravity wants to take the weight down, so you're going against gravity. And I have no idea how my alignment is here, but I'm hoping that it looks about right. And again, this is super hard. Good, 2 more. Okay. All right, I had to focus on that one. I couldn't really talk while I was doing that, so sorry. Okay, so again, you can hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. That seems like a lot. I wasn't even doing it for that long. But again, it's something to work up to. So if you're like, wow, I can really progress and set the limit, then absolutely go for 10 seconds. And it just advises you to repeat 20 times. So pick your number. It could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 20. All right, so now we will move into improving your spine mobility, okay? Because it's not just the neck that it creates only forward head placement. It's also the spine. It's the other types of our body position here, all right? So again, this is really common for those who sit all day in a hunched over position. We're here, we're typing, we're in the moment, or we're looking at the TV, we're gonna change the remote, use the remote to change the station. We're right here, we're looking at our phone, all of those different types of examples. We've all done it before. So again, it's just being mindful, it's being more aware and how to improve it. So improving spine mobility. We're going to use the ball for this next one. And I know I'm going to need that again, so I'm not going to go very far with it. We're gonna place a ball, or you can also use a foam roller. I failed to mention that earlier in the beginning of the video. So if you don't have a ball and you do have a foam roller, great, you can use that instead. We're gonna place it right underneath, like the very middle of the back here, okay? So you can also use a rolled up towel. I do mention that in the instructions. And then you're gonna place it in the middle of your upper back. So, all right, we're gonna interlace those hands behind the head, letting your head be supported by your hands, and then just go ahead and drop everything back. And you can just hold this position. So it should feel like you're getting a sense of openness through the chest, through the collarbone, and it's putting your spine into extension. So if you are feeling stiff, it could be challenging just to get your body in this position in general. So the ball, a foam roller, or a towel is there to support you. And then again, you can hold this anywhere from a minute. If it feels good, you can hold it for, I would say, even up to 3 minutes. And just relax. This is a great way just to meditate or focus on your body. Again, just to reset here. And keep in mind, guys, like with all of these different stretches and strengthening exercises, maybe there's a few that just resonate well with you, and you just want to repeat those every day, and that's fine. You totally can just do maybe 2 or 3. Maybe there's just one that you really like. You don't have to feel like you need to go through the entire program. And then carefully, I'm gonna roll off to my side here, and then I'm gonna sit myself up. It's just a little safer on the back to do that. Okay. All right, so we did that, improve spine mobility. And now we're going to go into opening up the front of the chest and the shoulders here. So again, like we talked about, if you do have forward head posture, forward head placement, it's most likely also that you're going to have rounded shoulders, more of that hunched over position. Not to say that people can point you out and locate that on you, but it's most likely going to be there, where your pectoral muscles, the front of your chest, are going to be tighter than the muscles in your back. Okay, so you got to remember, these are the muscles that get short and tight. These muscles here get long and weak. Okay, you can see how as my shoulders rotate forward, this is getting longer through my back, and therefore it's overly stretched. It's overly stretched, guys. Okay, and it begins to become weak, because we're in this position most of the time. So how do we open that up? All right, so let's turn the page. You guys can do sorry guys, I'm gonna go out of order here. So in the photo, guys, you see the first photo of me in the doorway. So basically you're in a doorway and I'm lunging into it. I'll do that in just a second. I want to do the second photo, which is the front shoulder stretch, which is letter B. So I'm going to use the box again. And this is going to be about a 30-second hold. And we can repeat this 3 times. You can go more if it feels good for you. So I'm just going to walk myself out, roll the shoulders back to begin. So I'm setting myself up here, okay? And then I'm going to basically take my tailbone off and lift my chest. All right, so I'm really shining my heart up to the ceiling here. Again, I'm trying to avoid creating tension in my arms. If this doesn't work for you and you have wrist issues, by all means, let's go ahead and come down to your elbows. And then again, just kind of lift your chest up, shining your heart back up to the ceiling, and you can take that tension out of your wrists and your arms. and really focus on just getting the stretch through the shoulders here. And I'm just gonna pause. I'm holding it for a minute. It feels fine for me, but if you need to take those necessary breaks and then go back into it, that's why I did right there that you can hold for 30 seconds. You can do this about 2 to 3 times. And I'm trying to avoid moving back, so I want to shift my weight forward. If I shift my weight forward, I'm feeling the stretch a little further in the front of my shoulders here. And I'm going to go ahead and release it. Perfect. Dropping it down. Okay, so going back to the shoulder stretch here through the doorway, you're going to try this from different angles. So you're going to go behind the doorway here. I'm going to lunge forward, okay? So I'm going to bend into my left knee, and I'm going to want to kind of come into this a little bit more. And I'm just going to shift my weight into it, okay? So my hands are really high up on this one, and I'm just shifting my weight forward to feel that shoulder stretch. I can also come down a little bit lower and then go right into it here, because you're going to feel it from all different angles, and the muscles will feel it differently from those different angles. And then I can even go a little bit lower from here. So there might be one angle that works better for you, or you might like all three. And then come. All right, so the last one here is going to be strengthening the postural muscles. So we'll want to go ahead and be in front of a wall. Okay, so I'm going to place my hands here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of shift my weight back, lean into it. And then from this position, I want to pinch my shoulder blades together. And you should be feeling this through your back. Okay, so just again, hold for 30 seconds. If you want to do more, you can hold for a minute. But you're pinching your shoulder blades together. That's the intention. Otherwise, you're just really not going to feel much here at all. And you can hold for 30 seconds, release, and then go back into it. So maybe you're trying it about 3 to 5 times. So what I mean by that is I'm going to come out of it. Good. That was 30 seconds. I'm going into my second series. I'm resetting myself up here, bending into it, tucking my tailbone slightly, and pinching those shoulder blades together. So I feel all of this working up and down my spine, especially my upper back muscles. Because again, remember we talked about those are the muscle groups that are specifically weak and long when you have more of rounded shoulder placement and forward head placement. And then releasing it. Perfect. So again, this workshop was created to help to release overly active tight muscles in the neck, and then also to strengthen the neck. So you can, hopefully you took great notes. You can go back and forth through the video. Otherwise, if you are interested in having the PDF file to see the photos of myself, the descriptive instructions for each of those exercises, feel free to locate the link below in the description box, and I'm happy to email that over to you. All right, guys, I will go over the shoulder and the hip workshop in the next coming weeks here. But again, give me your comments, tell me what you liked, and we'll go from there. Have a great day.